I guess we'll get started. Thank you, everyone, for attending. This is the next in our series of digital marketing webinars, and this webinar is about analyzing your market, your products and or services, and your competition. I am your host, Tony Mazzaroli. I am the chapter chairman for the SCORE Southeast New Jersey chapter. And our presenter today is Peter Bemko, who is also part of, he's also a mentor in Southeast New Jersey chapter, but he's also a digital marketing strategist. So I just want to say a few things about SCORE to get started, and then we'll get started with the presentation proper. So I'm just going to share my screen. If I can. Okay, so as I said, this is digital marketing. The series itself is a strategic approach to connecting and engaging with your customers, and this is a webinar series. This is the second part. The last part we did was an overview of the entire series, and now we're drilling down into different aspects of digital marketing. And as we said, today we're going to talk about one of those aspects. So let me see. Okay, so about SCORE first. So SCORE is a nonprofit organization. We were founded in 1964. We are associated with the Small Business Association, and we are funded by primarily by the U.S. government. Over the course of that almost 60 years, we have assisted more than 11 million entrepreneurs in starting their businesses, and in 2021, I don't have the statistics for 2022 yet, but in 2021, clients started 25,000 new businesses, and we created more than 95,000 jobs. SCORE in general, SCORE on a national basis has 11,000 plus mentors with wide industry experience, more than 250 chapters. We are SCORE Southeast New Jersey. We're one of those 250 chapters, and we mentor clients from Point Pleasant to Cape May. And the services that SCORE provides for small businesses, and we mentor businesses from 1 to 500 people at any point in their business life, from startup to disposition. We provide mentoring. We provide webinars, as you're attesting to today. We also provide courses on demand that are on the website. We have a library of online resources. There really isn't any business topic that you can't find something about on score.org. And we also provide local events, seminars, and workshops, and that's all at no charge. We have some, just to give you an idea of where you can find some of these resources for small businesses. This is our website, score.org/Southeast New Jersey. You can find a mentor. You can get a mentor assigned to you at score.org/find-mentor. We also have Facebook and LinkedIn groups, and you can participate on those groups. We ask that you can be part of the conversation, but we ask that businesses that join don't advertise themselves, that they keep to the conversations that SCORE is starting on those groups. Certainly you can ask questions and do other things like that, but we just ask that no one advertise their own particular business on those website. I'm sorry. And we also have a radio program on WBNJ 91.9. It's hosted by another one of our mentors, Michael Pappas. It's Saturday mornings at 9:30 a.m. and it's rebroadcast Sundays at 7 a.m. And they also have an archive of all the past shows. So you can find shows on various topics and interviews of business leaders in the area, other business owners telling their story, how they succeeded. in different parts. So it's a very interesting radio program, and we encourage you to take a listen. So as we've said, this is a digital marketing series, and it is a cohesive series designed to help you engage your customers. So today's topic is analyzing your market, your products or your services, and your competition. Each month, we're going to have a new webinar each month with a deep dive into one topic. And some of the upcoming topics that you'll see is defining your ideal customer, generating demand for your products or services, implementing inbound marketing best practices, converting your website visitors into leads, and tracking insights that matter, and other topics as well. Our today's presenter is Peter Bemko. He's a digital marketing strategist. He partners with a company called WSI, a global digital marketing agency. He's got over 30 years experience in technology and business management, working for financial firms, helping impact client relationships. A bit of housekeeping before we get started here, and I'm going to let Peter take over in just a second. We're going to ask you to, well, you can put your, we're going to use the chat function rather than raising your hand, because everyone can see the chat function. So if you have a question, you can put it in the chat. We're going to try to hold questions until the end. If somebody needs a clarification or something, we might address that at the present time, so you can get the most out of the presentation. But otherwise, we're gonna, just to keep the flow going and that we can make sure that we get everything in the allotted time, we're gonna hold most of the questions to the end. We will send a copy of the slides to all of the attendees. And if you have any questions after the presentation, you can certainly email me, anthony.massaroli@scorevolunteer.org. So thank you very much, and I will turn it over to Peter and let him present the webinar proper. Peter.
Awesome. Thank you, Tony. Great introduction. Welcome, everyone. I really appreciate that you've taken some time out of your day to spend with us to talk about digital marketing. Give me a second while I get the slide deck going. Sorry, I don't want to go through any fat fingers and challenges and such. So let's start this from the beginning. All right, hopefully everybody can see my screen, and I'm going to rely on Tony to help me with any of the Q&A or any questions that come up. Feel free to, jump in for a clarifying question, but definitely, in order to facilitate a discussion, let's hold some of those questions, the deeper questions, until the end, so that we have enough time to go through the entire presentation. So thank you so much. Again, I'm delighted to be here. Really glad that you've taken time to be with us today as part of this webinar series, where we'll be, in this particular webinar, we'll be analyzing your market, your products or services, and your competition. So I'm going to skip over my bio. Tony did a great job, so thank you so much. The one thing I will say is that, I specialized in helping businesses generate leads and sales, and I do that by developing and implementing digital marketing strategies using various tactics such as search engine optimization, paid advertising, and social media and content marketing. But I really love to talk to my clients about what they need and what their goals are, because all of this is so much more than just a tactic or what we're doing. You put a lot of yourself into your business. So that's one of the things that I would like to make sure of, is that I clearly understand where you want to go with your business. So let's do a quick poll, right? A quick Q&A. Who's attending? And who could this be for? Are you a business owner? Do you have something that's up and running today? Or are you just getting started? Are you an entrepreneur, a solopreneur, somebody who's just doing it on their own, trying to figure stuff out? Are you a marketing or sales professional who's just looking for that extra little, hey, did I not know this? Or is there something else that I should be doing here in order to have this? My goal for this webinar is to help you with some valuable insights on how you can analyze your competition. You can identify some of your gaps and opportunities and refine your marketing tactics. Really glad you joined us to discover how a competitive analysis can help you stay ahead of the curve and achieve your business goals. So a couple people have come in. Thanks a lot, Dave, as an owner of a business. Appreciate it. And Kimberly, who's the president of a local arts and nonprofit. That's great. Thanks, Larry, for joining, another fellow mentor. Appreciate it. Cool. And someone who's just opening a nursery school. Excellent. Really appreciate those comments. Thank you so much. So let's go through with the agenda, right? We're talking about a competitive analysis. Why should we do one? What is it really going to give you at the end of the day? It'll help you identify some of your strengths. We're going to talk about some of those things, how they benchmark against your competitors. We'll also talk about prioritizing some of your efforts when you find that information, when you're done with that research. But competitive analysis is really done with a lot of audits, something each of our businesses are doing. They help you, those audits will help you identify what you're good at, what you're not so good at, and again, create a benchmark. I know this is going to be a lot on this agenda, but if you follow through on this, it's going to help you run and manage your business better. It'll put you in a cycle of continuous quality improvement, help you drive your business forward and generate more leads and sales. So let's again talk about why do a competitive analysis. And I'm going to ask for another quick poll just to see where everybody's in. Just give me a yes or no in the chat. Have you ever done a competitive analysis? As a SCORE mentor, it's one of the things that we think about when we're talking to our mentees. People who come to us say, I'm trying to start something, I've already got something. We ask them to think about a formal business plan. That's really the first step in doing a competitive analysis, is your business plan. Because the business plan covers not only what you're going to be offering, what product or services, but who you're going to be offering them to. So I see a couple of people have done some looking at what a business plan is. So thank you for the chats, appreciate it. So you've really done a piece of a competitive analysis, but now we're going to really talk about a digital competitive analysis, right? Really digging in to your online presence and your competitors' online presence. So it might seem overwhelming as we start to go through this. You're not alone. It can be overwhelming, but it's like any other project, whether you're doing something in your kitchen or doing something in your bathroom or putting a garden in your yard, right? Breaking it down into smaller components. Or think of the kids' joke, right? How do you eat an elephant? It's one bite at a time. Remember, these insights that you're going to get, look at the strengths and weaknesses of your business and of your competitors. And then you're going to be able to use those to improve your marketing strategy and see where that looks, how that goes. So now, just to kind of get level set here, through the presentation, I'm going to give you tools. Some of the tools are going to be free, and some of the tools are going to be paid. The paid tools typically offer a trial period where you can try them out and see how they work. There's no correct solution. And if you go searching on the internet, you will find a ton of people that provide tools that you can do just SEO or just content or things of that nature. So I put in a quick poll in here about looking at tools, but I think we've all used some of these, okay? Some of the free tools like Google Alerts. And if you're not familiar with Google Alerts, I can dig into that a little bit more. We all obviously search Google on a regular basis, But then Google provides some additional tools like trends, which helps you identify keywords. And there are some other tools that are on the page. HubSpot's got a website grader. Neil Patel is a digital marketing specialist also, and he provides a really great tool called Uber Suggest. And then there's a Chrome extension called SEO Minion. The paid tools are that I've used in the past are called SEMrush and Ahrefs. Really, this competitor analysis is really a bunch of audits. We're going to look at your website, see how it's performing. We're going to look at your search engine optimization, what keywords you're looking for. We're going to look at content and see how that is. And then we're going to look at your social pages, the ones that you have, and whether you've got a bunch or just one or two. And we're going to try to pull all that stuff together and create some insights into what you should be doing next. Where I'm going to start is around local directories. I'd like to ask you guys if you are part of any of the local directories. According to surveys, over 90% of the people who are searching for something are targeting local directories, and then they're targeting reviews. Have you guys put a review up lately? I know I have. I had some really great service from a plumber about 2 weeks ago, and it was really great to call him up earlier in the day and have him come that day. So I immediately went out and gave him a great review, because that's the type of thing that you want for your businesses. Just kind of a couple more statistics. Businesses that claim their listing and have clients that put reviews on them get so much more business. They get 58% more revenue. Now, again, most consumers who read online reviews, they just don't stop at one. They typically will look at least 4. And of those, if they see reviews that are too good to be true, then they really don't want to go there. So I'm really glad folks in the poll are using the local directories. That is really great, because as a business owner, you want to make sure that your potential clients can find you. And the local business directories are a very easy way to do it. They might not be the easiest, depending on how you have to figure it out, but they are one way. Let's look at some of those directories. Hopefully you're on all of these or some of them, and why you would use them. Google Business Profile. It is important because it helps to improve your search engine rankings. And it certainly helps you increase the visibility of your Google search results. Facebook, you can use it in order to engage your customers at a more social level. As Tony mentioned in our intro, we're glad to have you join our Facebook group and talk about challenges to your business, things that you want to find out more about. It's all fair game on Facebook. And it really creates another level of engagement that a Google Business Profile wouldn't give you. Now, Yelp itself will give you a different type of review. Sorry, I'm fat fingering him, my apologies. So Yelp's going to give you a bit of a different review, right? And it's very important more important for the service industry, right? Restaurants, bars, hotels, because there's lots of people who put really extensive Yelp reviews. I've also used, YouTube for reviews. It's actually a poll question I should have put in here, is how many people have actually gone to YouTube for a vacation destination where they're going and said, oh, this guy did a really great video of what it was like to go to this place. So we're using social media in various ways, and it's really great idea to make sure that you stay up on all of your reviews and what your potential clients or your clients are doing. So just to kind of sum up, right? When Google search is looking at your listings, your information, They're really looking for how close are you to the person who's searching, right? How well you're known. Are there a lot of people who know your service? Have a lot of people commented on it? And how well does your service match up, or your product match up with what that person's looking for specifically? Now, just keep in mind, algorithms are going to change, so your mileage may vary. It may work well one day and not so well the next day. That's not your fault, and that's nothing you can do. You have done. It requires another audit to take a look at some stuff, and we can provide, you can get some help that way. I've also created some lists here of people that of resources that you can use. And what I'll do is, you'll give me one quick second, and I'll give you guys the web pages into the chat that you can use to help you with your local resources. You know, these are just some random articles that I thought would be addressed using local resources really well. Okay, let's move on. So let's talk about a website audit. So the website, how it is set up is really the foundation of your SEO or search engine optimization, okay? Running your website through an audit tool will help you identify where it's performing well and where there's some room for improvement. Now, as you're looking for the performances, right, you're looking at, is it mobile friendly? Is the content up to date? Are there pages that are slow? Are there links that are broken? I was on a website the other day where I was looking at a roofer, and I wanted to try to make contact with them. And when I clicked the contact us, it went nowhere. He had a broken link. So I immediately was like, okay, on to the next person to see about having my roof fixed. It's those types of things that when we don't check them on our own websites, that we've just given up on a potential client. The couple of tools you see on the screen, SEO Minion, as I mentioned, it's a Google Chrome extension. So you can use it for yourself. You can use it for any of your competitors to see exactly how they're doing. Broken links, how their on-page SEO is, things of that nature. The other image is from my group, WSI, and it's a little bit more extensive. This is part of a competitive analysis that we run, and we go through a lot deeper dive into all of the things that could be happening. Okay. Again, the website audit is going to really look at a lot of the technical issues. It's going to look at your website design, what the user experience is like, where the content is it performing as well as it could be? Again, a lot of work that goes into it. And if you're going to do this, make sure that you record this information in a spreadsheet so that you have something to go back on. Let's talk about a true SEO audit. Search engine optimization really talks about the keywords, the things people are searching for, and how they match up to the information that's on your website. So this SEO is part content, part pages. There are a number of things that can go into that. You can use the SEO to benchmark yourself against your competitors. You're going to look at backlinks and keywords, and you're going to try to find things that your competitors rank for that you don't. So in doing this, this is on the screen, we've got Neil Patel's Uber Suggest, and we looked at Amazon, right? And how does Amazon rank from a traffic perspective, right? It's got a lot of organic keywords. It's got a huge monthly traffic. But then at the bottom, you can see how it actually helped to rank on keywords and pages. How many views did those pages have? How did that work out? An SEO audit is a vital tool for improving your website's traffic, for generating leads, and staying ahead of where you are, okay? By doing this, it will help you to increase the number of visitors that you get to your site organically, right? Without doing paid ads and things like that. Okay, so let's move on to content. And I just want to stop and tell you about the fact that what I'm talking to you about today is something I do with my clients. So we go through this type of an audit when we first start to work with somebody. Let's get an idea of exactly where your marketing is, what you're doing with it. So content audit now is going to dive a little bit deeper. It's going to review all of your content, evaluating the quality, the relevance, and it's also going to include the tone and the style. And also think about the fact that when's the last time you updated a piece of content? There was an article I was reading earlier today that talked about how when Google does its analytics, it actually looks at some of your older articles and doesn't rank them as well because they're old, they're not getting as much traffic. And what you would want to do in that instance is go back, look at some keywords, look at how that article is ranking, and then reinsert some newer keywords, some alternate keywords. And then it may start to rank again for you. So you get almost an evergreen type of piece of content, right? So now think about the fact that you could use this also to see how many keywords and how your competitors' content is ranking. If we look at our graph on the screen, we can see that Acme Corp doesn't have a lot of content, doesn't do a lot of blog posting, more than likely doesn't get a lot of traffic for people coming and saying, hey, I think Acme Corp is the right person, the right company to help me. Now, if you turn to Wonka Industry, who has a factor of magnitude, significantly more blog content, significantly more site content, people are going to trust Wonka a little bit more because they have more information. They have more details where they can provide as part of the buyer journey, right? So that's something that we'll talk about in our next webinar, but the content helps to nurture your buyers. Because as you're coming through a buyer funnel, as somebody who just found your website, they're looking for information. They're trying to get to know you based on your content, based on what you've posted. And as they move from, I'm thinking about it, to, yes, this is a good idea, you want your content to lead them through that journey. And again, that's something that we'll talk a little bit more about in our next seminar. So let's talk a little bit more about, let's talk about how to find some information around what's going on pages. In this particular instance, there's a way to find out the number of pages and the number of blog posts that exist. And this is a really easy way to do it. If you put the word site in front of any URL, site : in front of a URL, you'll see how many pages are on that site. So that'll give you an idea of how much that type of content they have, just the pages, articles, things of that nature. And then if you take site and add blog at the end of it, you'll get another number, which is individual pages of blog posts. You can use this to compare to other industries or other competitors that you have, and even at the industry level, to see, do you have a similar number? Again, write this information down so that you can create a graph similar to this. So that's how you can do some of that. Now, so then let's explore social audit. In this, we're talking about how you communicate with your clients, how you communicate with your potential clients. What are you saying about yourself in which way? We talked a little bit before about Facebook and what you can use that for. That's also, Yelp could also be considered a social channel because you're posting on it. So knowing what you're doing here and how you're doing it is very, very important, as well as knowing what your competitors are doing. So take the time to go out and look at their sites. And that's really an underlying thing around all of this stuff, is spending time on your competitors' sites, looking at their blog posts, looking at the articles that they write, subscribing to their newsletter, maybe even buying a product from them to see how their client service is. How do they respond to you as one of their potential clients? Using Yelp or Google Business Profile to see what reviews they've got. All of this provides you with information so that you can grow your business and you can get better at what you're doing. So remember, right, a social audit helps to identify areas where you can improve your content strategy so that it's more engaging and more relevant for your audience. It also can help you understand some of your buyers' pain points, some of their behaviors, because that's what we're really in business to do, right? We're, as much as we may love all of our businesses and what we do, we're there to help people. We're there to make their pain less, or to give them a way to, well, I could say avoid, but not to have as much as it goes. So make sure you take the time to go through a social audit. And again, as we look through what's on our chart here, you can see we've set up Acme as not very active in any of the social channels, versus Wonka, which is significantly more active. Now, they may not be active as much across blog posts, but they are definitely much more active in Twitter. You can see that, as well as much more active on LinkedIn. Now, again, this can be a very complex, time-consuming process, but it'll help you uncover where your strategy is kind of not doing as well as it should be. Perhaps there's low engagement. Perhaps there's people who are just coming to your site and bouncing right off. There are ways you can improve some of that stuff by updating hashtags, collaborating with influencers. There's many ways to look at social channels and to get in front of your clients or your potential clients at the right time with the right message, because that's what it's a lot about. The last thing I'll leave you with is the fact that as you do this over time, you'll start to see trends. You'll start to see whether there's a trend on the age group that is engaging with you, or a location, a geographic location. Maybe it's everybody who's in New York City wants to engage with you versus people who are in Alaska or things like that. So now let's talk about insights and analytics a little bit. The way to look at your insights, the best way is to use Google Search Console. Google Search Console is a free platform for anybody who has a website, and it'll help to monitor the views, look to see exactly what's going on, which pages have the most traffic that's coming to your website. Because remember, the tools that we've used in the past, right, that I've had on this page, they're estimates, right? They aggregate. They're not, yes, it was 100,000 and we know for sure. The only people who know for sure are the people whose websites it is. They know exactly. But the tools themselves are pulling information from various sources to be able to provide these estimates. As you start to use Google Search Console, a really important piece to do is to use annotation markers. The annotation markers allow you to mark key events, like a new marketing campaign that you've launched, an email campaign, maybe TV advertising or a radio spot, things like that. This way, you know exactly when that happened, and you can watch to see whether your traffic has changed, whether it's gone down, gone up. Again, your demographic trend may have changed. So a really great tool for you to start using. So let's talk about Google Trends for a couple of minutes. So Google Trends is a wonderful tool to look for keywords. It provides you a way to see what people are searching for. There are other tools, some paid, some not. I believe it's Answer Me This, that will give you similar information. But this one's free and it's available at your fingertips. On the screen, I did a search for hot water heater not working. As you can see from the graphic, right, not a lot of searches for this over time since last year, but then there was this wonderful spike. And I'm thinking, what's that about? It looks like it happened right around the Christmas holidays. So a lot of people were having challenges with their hot water as they had family over or guests. You know, you get that heavier usage during the holidays as people are in your house and you're doing a lot more cooking, and you've got a lot more people working it that way. But here you could see that that happened in Missouri, North Carolina. Was there a weather event potentially that happened in that area? Tough to say, but now if you start to look at the related information here, down here with these related queries, you could use gas water heater not working as another keyword within your content. You could use electric water heater, electric hot water heater, things of this nature, which will bring more search traffic to you because you're able to prioritize the content for new keywords. To summarize this up, this helps you analyze search trends, identify some of the popular topics that people are looking for, and potentially discover new opportunities for your business. Okay, so let's talk about a kind of a next steps, what to do right away in order to make this happen. So here's some examples that really need a more in-depth tool. And as I said, just to highlight, some of the tools I provided are free. Others need to be paid. So these are examples of tools that need to be paid for. Now, your first step is to find which keywords your website ranks for. Now that would be page 2 and above. And in looking at this graphic that we've got here, the positioning 1 through 10 is page 1, 11 through 20 is page 2. So in this case, in these searches, you can see that all of these keywords are ranking on the first 2 pages. Your goal would be to see where your keywords are ranking and try to adjust or use other keywords that would help you rank higher and get you up on those first 2 pages of Google. That way you're improving your content and therefore you get better inbound links and they go. Then go back over and look at your competitors and look at their best performing pages. What keywords are they using? What are they doing that you might be able to copy? You could see here that specifically we've highlighted kitchen ideas and designs. So that's a pretty high ranking page. I wonder what all the keywords are that are underneath there that help to rank that page. Again, just to highlight, this detail is really available through the paid versions of the tools. And of course, you could reach out to your preferred or your favorite digital marketing consultant, and they would be, I'm sure, happy to help you work through some of this stuff. So as we have all of this information, we've written it all down, we've started to look at it, we can set up a graph, a chart that shows us our search visibility, right? This would be how many searches are for our keywords, for keywords that we have on our site, for our content. And then we can look at our social impact. How many channels are we using? How engaged are our clients with our social media? The last piece that, again, becomes the interesting part is the size of the bubble, right? So this is the number of pages that Google has said, yep, I can see this many pages on this site. And as our comparison highlights, Wonka Industries has significantly more pages that have been indexed by Google than any of the other competitors. So these guys can all start to look and say, what is Wonka doing that we should be doing? So I've given you a lot of information over the course of this last half hour or so. Here's what you're going to get, right? If you go through this process, and the first time it's absolutely going to be time consuming. There's a lot in here to unpack, even more than I've had the opportunity to highlight for you right now. But if you do this, and as you do it, you will find that you're going to get a clear picture of where you stand against your competitors in the online space. You're going to have insight into what they're doing to attract new clients, what they're doing to keep their existing clients. Using that information, you're going to be able to create your own plan to improve your digital marketing strategy and improve your ability to attract or retain your clients. So just kind of summarizing this up, review your benchmark, review how you've been, right? Take that first step. Then start to think about refreshing your existing content, because you're totally in control of how you manage your content, how you manage your channels, and what you want to do, okay? Then take a look at how those changes have adjusted your traffic using the analytics. And this isn't to do wholesale changes. I'm going to do 100 of these. Do 1 or 2, see what happens. Use the Google dashboard to tell you what has happened and what has changed, okay? Updating your blogs, updating your content. Perhaps it might even require, or it might show you that you might want to do some paid advertising. You put some of your current ad budget into Google AdWords or something of that type. It might be worth the investment. So again, this could be really time consuming that first or second time out. But as you do it more, each time you reset and refresh like this, it becomes part of your regular scheduled function. It's part of running your business. That strategy will go a long way to helping you get more leads, generate more sales. So I'll finish this off by saying that if you want some help, right? If you need help getting started, if you want somebody to guide you through this, or you want it done for you, please feel free to reach out. My email address and my website is on the page. So again, you'll get a copy of this. If you want to try to go do it part of it on your own, then we've got a link to the Digital Mind books. It has the 12 chapters we're going to be covering. And I want to throw out a reminder, our third webinar in defining your ideal customer is on March 3rd at 12 o'clock. And I hope that you guys will join us there, because it's going to be a lot of fun. And defining who your client is can be very interesting. So thank you for taking the time out of your day to attend our webinar on competitive analysis. It's been great having you. And Tony, put it over for some Q&A.
Okay, so I have one question from Takira Jones, and her question was, should educational services be on Yelp?
I think that I would think that it's probably a good idea. I would ask some further questions around, is there a particular type of questions? The suggestion I would make is go on to Yelp to see what other people are doing for you, for in that category, for educational services, whether you're a tutor, okay, whether you are a particular, whether you're independent or you're a brick and mortar store or things like that, right? See who else is out there on Yelp. I would say the more the better, technically, right? Because it is a service and you want your name out as much as possible, especially with reviews. You want those reviews to come in so that people say, yep, this is great. Their service is above and beyond each and every time, and I would recommend them to anybody.
If I could tack on to what Peter was just saying, and this is to understanding your customer and your market. It really goes to understanding who you're trying to reach as to what sites are the best for you. Every one of the sites has a demographic that they are better at reaching. Now, Facebook has a general demographic of kind of, or it did at least for everyone. Instagram, for instance, I think is better at reaching women in the 24 to 48-year-old demographic. So the steps really are understand who your customer is, who you're trying to reach, and then which social media sites have the best shot at reaching that demographic.
Yeah, and I would also add that please feel free to reach out to a SCORE mentor. We'd be glad to discuss that in depth with you and work on how you can do that.
Any other questions out there?
So Tony, I'm going to take a quick moment. There was a question that was forwarded in before this started. And I wanted, the question was from somebody who was doing a new startup as a paralegal offering immigration services, mainly in the Arabic speaking community, looking for marketing information on pricing for notary services and things like that. So they were trying to figure out how to do some of that work. I don't know if they're on the call or not, but I did do a little put a little thought into that one, and a couple of things come to mind for that particular person, and I think it applies to everyone that's on the call, especially to me because I do the same thing, right? You highlighted it well. Look for where the people that you're trying to market to are, right? And look for other people who are doing similar things and see what they're doing, right? For this particular person who's doing paralegal work, he could look for translation services and how they're doing things. They could look for lawyers who are particularly specializing in immigration services. So look, to me, it still comes back to see where the people are that you are competing against, and then you'll have a better idea of where you should be advertising or marketing.
Okay, any other questions out there? Please put them into the chat space.
Yes, Janet, they will be. We'll send a copy of the presentation.
Okay, well, if there are, oh, here's a question. Where's a good place to find influencers or collaborators?
So from an influencer and so two different, well, potentially they could be the same person. They could be two different people. It's part of it's looking at it from an industry perspective. If you're part of the music industry, there are going to be people who are specifically commenting about that. So I would look for newsletters of people who are commenting about the music industry, who are doing, whether they're composers or songwriters or things of that nature. So there are those niches that go there. And then there are the influencers, the other side of that, of, okay, so what are they trying to influence against? And those, again, they basically are a series of searches that you start really wide and then refine it down as you're going along. And you might go down a couple of branches, but it might be as simple as music influencers. Who are the top 10 people who have influence in music, for example? Or who are the top people who blog about music? Top 10 music posters or article writers, critics, things of that nature. Hopefully that answered your question, Christina.
Just wait one more minute, see if anyone has any other questions. In the meanwhile, I would like to thank all the participants for all the attendees for attending the webinar today. And I would like to mention that you will be getting an evaluation survey somewhere around 24 hours after this webinar closes. And we would ask you if you could fill that out. As this is going to be a webinar series, we want to make sure that we are giving you the types of information and in ways that it makes it easy to understand. So we would like if you can provide us with feedback to help us get better for subsequent webinars. It'll help both of us. So thank you very much for considering to do that. As we have no further questions, thank you, Peter. Thank you very much for that very detailed and informative presentation, and it was very interesting as well. Thank you, everyone, for attending, and we look forward to seeing you all next month for the next installment, which will be defining how to define your best customer. Thank you very much, everyone.
Thank you all. Thanks, Tony.
Thank you.